All right, and here we are at the Commissioner's Corner, episode 10, sponsored by Falkirk Estate. What a beautiful place. We'll discuss that soon. A lot to discuss this week. We got MSL, coming to an end. The season. We had championships this week. We have, free agent movements. There's a lot of talk going
Uh,
on. So there's
hot
fall ball
stove.
going on. The hot stove
Yeah.
league starts, start brewing up soon. So definitely a lot to discuss. But before anything gets, how was Shabbat? How was Shabbos by you?
Quiet Shabbos by me. I was not home. I haven't been home in a while, so I've missed all the fun. I know Mendy Rosen in the chat is poaching everybody. No matter any name you put in, VV 26. It doesn't matter if the guy's not even a player anymore. Steve Romer, VV 26.
Mendy, I'm
But
waiting for a call, Mendy. I'm waiting for a call.
I wanted to discuss that with him the Shabbos, but I wasn't around. So I had a quiet Shabbos. What about you, Ezzy? How was your Shabbos?
Oh, Shabbos was awesome. Shabbos was awesome. First of all, Mazel Tov to Ellie Mann on the birth of a baby
Also,
boy.
yep.
So he made a Shalom Zachar Friday night, and I made the trek.
Woo!
50 minutes. My back is still hurting. My knees still hurting. But you know what? It was great going there. Big miles up to Ellie and his family. And it felt like I was walking to MSL headquarters. You had
Oh.
Mendy Halpert was there, Yosef Halpert, Penny, Morty,
Hey,
Yaakov,
put some respect on Mendy's name.
and the midfluencer Mendy with his son Yosef. Penny was there, Morty, Yak, Avio was there, Jason. Trying to remember who else. I know I forgot. I'm going to get a few calls after that. I forgot some people, but it's just we're talking about the season as a whole, possible free agents. We're talking about possible teams breaking up.
Are you
I
gonna
can't break
drop
any news here.
nothing? Zero? You're not gonna drop any news?
There was definitely some player chatter and some, I don't want to say poaching, but there was some poaching going on.
Surprised Ellie Race wasn't there. If there's any poaching going on, Ellie Race is usually the first one there.
So it was definitely a beautiful Shalom Zachar, and it was a really fun Friday night. It was great to see the
Did you make
boys.
did you make it home or you stayed there?
It was rough. It was rough. I'm not going to say what time I went to Chakras this morning. So that was fun. That was fun. So that was good stuff. And talk about Miles Tubs. I'd like to throw Miles Tub out to much stuff with Weissmandel. We never officially gave him the Miles Tub. So Miles Tub
Yep.
to Effie and much stuff with Weissmandel. Big MSL guys, to families, to everybody. We'll talk about the championship game and all, but Miles Tub to MD Weissmandel, star player and Effie manager of the year this
End of
season,
the year. Yeah.
right? So miles up to them on a beautiful, beautiful simcha. All right, yeah. So it's been a couple of weeks since we did the last podcast. So the last thing, let's talk about MSL Night Out.
All right. Yes. So the last podcast we had was actually the fall bowl draft, and now we're already midway through the fall bowl season. So that was the last podcast we had. A great live in Ushi Schwartz, the winning championship captain Ushi Schwartz's house. It was great times. But yes, we haven't had anything. We didn't talk about the men's night out at the beautiful Falkirk Estate. Thank you, Rafi Rothschild and Double R and all that. I thought it was an amazing time. I thought the food was awesome. The vibes were great. Inside, outside, everybody. MSL. I look at it's more like a family than just a league now. You have guys who are coming there to chill. They know everybody. It seems like everybody knows everybody. It's like the old Cheers song where everybody knows your name, and that's what MSL is like right now. Great time. We gave out the awards. Great award
You got to say,
ceremony.
Yosef Grossman did a great job. He
Yeah.
did a great job with, giving out the awards and his lines. He had some great stuff, great
I
material,
think I
Yosef.
think he held some punches. I think he could have come at me harder for sure. He could have come at some other people harder, but he knew he was still facing me in like a day. So I think that's why he held back. If it was after he beat us, he would have gone all out. He's a smart guy. He's shrewd. He knew what he was doing. But yeah, I thought it was a great time. What do you see from your side?
You know what? It was great. Absolutely great stuff. The awards, the gold gloves, congrats to all the winners. And again, great vibe. I say if anybody came into that night and beautiful event, beautiful hall and everything, you can sit on any table, sit with any group of guys, and just have a good time because that's really what it is. I spoke to a few guys this past week who play in different leagues, and they said they're definitely going to try to come more to the MSL. There's something special about it. There's something that the game, the intensity of the game, the fans coming to the game, the player involvement at our MSL league is really special. And you really saw it that night. You felt it that night. It was just a beautiful, beautiful night, fun night. I had a great time. The drinks, cigars, the hookah,
Great
everything.
place.
It was,
It's not far away either. It's what, a half hour away. I
yeah,
think it
yeah.
was a great place. And hopefully we do it again more and more. And you mentioned something about someone coming to games where I overheard someone saying that they play in a few leagues, and he says he's played in championships in a few leagues, even this year alone. And he said he feels different in MSL. He says because he's at the game, he's at a playoff game, and in his other league, he's at a playoff game, he gives up a hit, or he strikes out, or he doesn't get on base. It's okay, big deal. Who sees it? It's pressure because it's my team, but when you're up at bat, you don't feel it. When you're here and you have 30 guys on one side, 30 guys on the other side, watching everything you do, he felt there was added pressure when he stepped in there. He's stepping in the box. He's like, I'm not just letting down my team. There's people watching. There's pressure, and he said he loves it. It's an extra added intensity. It's a fire, and he comes with knowing that that's going to be like that. And he really enjoyed being in our league, and he's in other leagues, and he says that's a huge difference for him. He has that fire inside him, and it brings it out even more.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, and I think the night out really put a lot of things together. It was a nice, recap of our season and all that. Then you went right into, it was middle of the playoffs and championship. Let's get into that, playoffs and championship. We knew going into the championships that we said all along 5 or 6 teams can win it. And the playoffs showed out that way. You had no idea. I mean, what was going to happen with all, Jules by DK gets knocked out early. Then Double R gave, we'll discuss that. They gave, Merockdim a run for their money in the first round. But ultimately ended up with a wonderful championship series.
Yeah, a great championship series.
Between MJ and Merockdim. And MJ, let's discuss. Let's go back to Merockdim. Let's discuss their path and the lead up to the championship game, which eventually they faced MJ. So let's go with let's discuss Merockdim as a team as a whole. Let's discuss their playoffs.
So we go back. I mean, it was a while ago already, before vacation week, before everything else. Merockdim started off against Double R, and as we mentioned in one of the podcasts, Double R said, "This is the team we want." We faced them all year. It was close games. And Double R won game 1, I believe. Merockdim won game 2. And game 3, close game, very close. It went down, I think, a 1-run game. Maybe it was 3-2 or something.
It was
But Merockdim,
4-3, yeah.
4-3. Merockdim eked it out, won it, and got to move on. In the second round, they got to play Consumer, last year's champion. But Consumer wasn't the same team this year. Let's call a spade a spade. They were not the same.
It's funny because Consumer handed it to Jules by DK. I mean, they played,
which to me was shocking.
Right.
I thought Jules by DK was the team that's going to win, but Consumer beat them. But they're not the same team. Like Josh, the captain Josh says it himself. Last year they got to games an hour early. They were always on the field, first ones there. They had every guy show up every week. It wasn't the same. He said we won the championship last year. We lost that edge, intensity, but we're happy, we're fine, and we're good with it. We're complacent. And it showed. It showed in that series against Merockdim. The games were close to start, but then, an error happened, and then it snowballed, and Consumer wouldn't have let that happen last year. If there was an error last year with Consumer, they would be right back on the horse and let's go. And Merockdim ended up sweeping them. It just wasn't the same team, and Consumer knows that, which means I think they'll be back stronger next year. They wanted, once you win a championship, you want another one. That first year after, you could say, they have the what's it called? The hangover, championship hangover.
Yeah, you see it all the time in every sport. You see
every sport. That's why it's so hard to win back to back, right? It hardly ever happens. So they'll be back next year, and Merockdim got there, and that was their path. MJ had the first round at EYG. So EYG was missing players. MJ had like a cupcake matchup that first round, I believe. They were missing players. You had game 2 already. You had Edelman moving to left. You had Gelb and Chasen, 126-year-old combined outfield from those two guys.
Yeah, I think they're already missing. Mike Hollander may have been already out.
Hollander was already
So,
gone.
yeah,
Yeah.
there was definitely some
Lowinger
holes.
didn't play game 2. And MJ had it.
EYG needed everybody there
Yeah.
to be
Yes,
able
that
to
was the only
compete with
way
the
they had
top
it.
teams. And we said it all along. They're a really top team when they're all there. But
Right.
if they're not all there, then you start playing mix and matches, and that's where
It didn't
you
work
get
out.
yourself
MJ,
in trouble. But
not
then
against a team like MJ.
MJ in series, in their second series against RSK. Now, yes. I mean, that was. I'm sure you're still getting over it. Let's talk about game 1, game 2,
Yeah.
and
Game
I'll
3.
discuss the rest. I'll discuss game 3, what I saw.
Well, you could discuss one inning in game 3. RSK handedly, I think. I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember, but I think we handedly won game 1. MJ was missing a few players. I know that. But we handed them. I mean, 6-1, 8-6, 9. I don't even know anymore. We scored a lot of runs. Game 2 was a game that we pushed for. It was raining, but we pushed for it because, you know what? It wasn't. The forecast said the rain was going to stop. Ellie Race is usually right. Ellie Race, you were wrong this time. We got the game started.
It happens.
But I mean, I was this close to saying no, just push it off. And you know what? It would have been to our advantage if we pushed it off. That's the truth. We had players missing in later games that he wouldn't have missed the game if it was pushed off. But I didn't care. I said for the benefit of the league, I think we should play today. I wasn't looking at it and saying, oh, Mayor Stimmel will be back if I push this off, or this guy will be back. I did not look at it. I looked at it as a commissioner of a league, not as a player on a team. And that was my belief. We had to get the game in. The game started. It was okay. Then it started getting rain. It was very hard to pitch.
That was a high scoring start to that game.
High scoring start.
Sitting there announcing it. I said, this game, if it goes 9, it's to be like 2015. It was just, the ball is definitely a little wet, and you can see it. The control.
I had no grip as a pitcher.
Yeah, you can see that. And ultimately, the game ended in the 4th inning.
The biggest problem of that game was, and we could look back and say if we didn't play that game, Max got injured after hitting a triple in the 1st inning. He got injured. Now, was it because of the slick field? Was it because of, it's a little wet out there and he's coming in cold? I don't know, but he got hurt, and that was huge. That was a turning point of the series for us. We were up 2-0, top 1. At the end of that half, we're happy, and then we see Max on the floor. We're like, we just lost probably our MVP this year. He was second in MVP voting in the league. He could have easily won. Our outfielder. And we lost him, and we just came into the field like, oh my gosh, what are we doing now? We had to scramble, and that's a huge loss. And if we didn't play that night, I'll go down saying he would have been healthy for game 2, which would have been on Sunday. He would have been available for game 3. We would have had other guys back, and it happened. And the game ultimately got suspended. It ultimately got suspended. We ended up agreeing to basically a doubleheader on the Sunday night after vacation week. It went back and forth for a while. They ended up winning 6-3. We scored some runs late. And then game 3, You'll take the last.
Game 3, so now it's winners going to the championship.
Right.
And RSK was dominating the game. They were completely in control. There was nothing. Yitz, you were on the mound. You had full control of everything. There was nothing that I saw that I believed MJ had that spark.
We didn't either.
But ultimately, MJ is a really good hitting team, and
so
they're really, coached by.
Before you get into that, so that was the problem. So we were up. I mean, they had maybe 3 base runners through 8. The problem with us was, before the 9th inning, we had so many chances to put up 5, 6, 10 runs, and we grounded into double play after double play. Max himself grounded into, he couldn't run. Guys grounded double plays, and we left so many men on base. Really. And by the way, I think it was 4-0, and there was a close play at first where the ump made one of the worst calls we've seen, and that was their first run. They had no runs coming into that.
And you see it often. You see it often. Sometimes when you need to blow it open. Sometimes it's 3-0, but you need an extra 2 runs. You just never just put it down. You never put the hammer down, and it kept MJ in it. And ultimately, it's 4-1.
Top 9, you could go now.
It top 9, and MJ just all of a sudden it's like everything just clicked, and one hit, another hit, another hit, and another hit. And Yitz, and I'm watching you, and I've watched you for enough years, and I'm like, Yitz is gonna pull this one out. Yitz is good, and you just couldn't get that out pitch. You couldn't
I
get
couldn't
that
get the
pop
fly
up.
ball, the
You
pop
couldn't
out.
get the fly ball. I always say that. You just need
Yeah.
that fly ball, settle everything in, and before you
Ground
knew
ball,
it,
ground ball, ground ball, ground ball,
a
ground
lot of
ball.
ground balls, just couldn't get out of that. And at the end of that inning, the score was lopsided,
10
heading to
runs. Yeah.
MJ. So I give credit to MJ that they fought through it. They have a championship caliber team. Ultimately, they're championship
Yeah, they were 3 outs
pedigree.
away. They were 3 outs
Yeah,
away.
yeah, yep, and they fought through it, and ultimately, they won,
They got
and
there.
they beat RSK. So that was as crazy as game I've ever seen, and I'm
I,
sure that
I
was
give
frustrating
myself
for you as a
credit.
pitcher. When you're there, you're up 4-1, you're a couple outs away, and those last 3 outs are always hard. I played in a bunch of these games where you're winning, you feel like you control, and then one hit, one bloop, and all of a sudden it's like the pressure changes very quick.
Yeah, and you know
And
what? There were really no errors. I mean, yeah, there
mhm,
was a big one, but there were really no errors. A lot of
yeah,
balls just getting through. I give myself credit. You know why? I didn't throw my glove down. I didn't stomp around the mound. I felt it was all on me. There was no reason
yeah,
for it,
yeah.
and it
You were
humbled me.
fighting through it,
It humbled me. It
and
was it was so fast. It was so fast. It was so
yeah, yeah.
fast.
Before you know, it's like I think you were in shock after. I was just
I was
like,
a child.
what
I was
just
a child.
happened, right? What
Yeah.
just, you know,
Yeah.
um, and then
And then
also ultimately, it leads to the championship of Merockdim, the first place team against MJ, and
yep.
what a championship game it was! What a championship series!
Right.
Merockdim takes game one.
Ugly
Um,
game. Ugly
ugly
game.
game. Ugly
11
game.
errors.
Zevi Simanovich was on the mound, pitched a great game against that
Yep.
play, but a sloppiness, a lot of sloppiness. It wasn't your typical championship series game. And again, Merockton had some time off. If you maybe could allude to that. And it
Right.
just
They did a
wasn't
lot of
MJ. MJ was missing some players. Your pitchers,
yes.
the pitchers. I say Zevi pitched solid, and everybody's pitching, but it just wasn't crisp. And Merockton takes game one. Now you're heading into game two with an MJ must win. This is must win to stay alive. And once again, the pressure's on them. They've shown they can play through pressure. They have enough players like Shummy, Al, Naftali Solomon.
Veterans.
You go through the veterans. They,
Yeah.
they, they were they were confident. They didn't look shaken at all. Going into the start of game two. So go for game two, Yitz.
Yeah. So game two, it was. I think yeah. I mean, game two was easy. Naftali Solomon, 6-0. I
Six
mean,
nothing.
that was
And
really
he
it.
played. And you know what? For Merockdim, all series, and we've said it all season. Merockdim's an interesting spot because they have two aces. Will say it: the Sheriff
Yep.
and Zevi.
Yep.
Kaufman and Zevi are two great pitchers. So how they
Yeah,
work
Jack
around
Swift
it,
is a great pitcher too, by the way.
right? But this season they had
Yeah.
Zevi and Sheriff, and it was interesting to see how they're going to play this championship. So Zevi went game one. Kaufman went game two, and he pitched terrific. Kaufman, I say it most. I've never seen a guy with a fastball with so much control. But
One hit.
if you score 0 runs, if you're not scoring, it makes no difference what's
It
happening.
was 0-0 to fourth or fifth, and then an excuse me line drive single on a 1-2 pitch by Yitzy Berger brought in that run. Now I'm remembering all this.
Yeah,
Brought in
yeah,
that run. They go up 1-0, and in I think the very next inning, Donnie Cohn gets gunned down at the plate. Close play at the plate, and instead of 1-up, it's 1-0. Some arguing, and guess what happens? Very next play when they go into the field, first ball right to Donnie Cohn, gets by him, leadoff triple or so, and then the wheels fall off.
Yeah,
It happened so quick.
a big game by Yitzy, the Burger Bash.
Yeah, he was three
Yitzy
hits.
had I think he had 4 or 5 ribbies that game.
Yeah, he was the
In every big spot, he came through.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
moved him up in the lineup, and he came through big time. So
Somebody got hit.
6-0.
Polkash got hit.
Yeah, they
Tenenbaum was hitting.
Yeah, they had
They
some
all were.
great hits. And now you're going to a game three tied 1-1, and the big question was who's going to be on the mound for Merockdim.
Shummy thought both of them were going to be on the mound. Shummy thought they were going to be switching off.
Shummy did think that, but he was wrong.
Very wrong.
So Zevi pitched a solid game one. Kaufman pitched a solid game two, and you have two aces. This is a
Yeah.
big decision
Hard.
that
Yeah.
Merockdim, and I think that, other teams don't have this situation because, Naftali Solomon is the number one. You're on your team. Every team has their guy who they're going to
Right.
go to in a big spot. Merockdim went with the Sheriff. They
And
went
that
with
was the decision they
Kaufman.
made before the season. They made the decision before the season. We still question it, right?
Mm,
When you have a superstar center fielder, for example,
mm,
you're not going out to find another superstar center fielder. But if you do, you can move that center fielder to left field. When it comes to pitcher, if you have a superstar pitcher and you're looking to find another one, there's no other place for the other one to go. And it's a decision you make before the season. Like, when it comes down to it, we're going to have to pick one of them, and it's not easy. And
mm.
they went with Kaufman,
Yeah, they
the
went with
guy they
Kaufman.
brought in.
And let me tell you this: he was dealing. Kaufman was dealing. Naftali Salmon was dealing. Naftali Salmon gets better and better. Every time as the season goes on, he was locked in.
Yeah, yeah,
Kaufman was locked in.
yeah.
The game starts. An early miscue by Merockdim, which led to an early MJ 2-0
2 nothing
lead
lead.
to start the game. And now the question is, how is
Can
Merockdim going to
Milwaukee
answer?
answer? And they did. One.
They came back and they're back in it, and I have to say they played with energy all night.
Yeah.
Kaufman, after that third inning, I don't think he gave up no runs, but he didn't give up any. Like, there's no base runners anymore.
He locked
But
in.
the game was back and forth. I was watching the game. I couldn't sit. I was nervous what was going on out
Well,
there.
was
It
that the reason why
intense.
was that the reason why you couldn't sit?
It was an intense game. It was a very intense game, and we were like talking like, how is this going to play out?
Right.
And Merockdim had MJ had a nice lead, but it felt like they were in control because Naftali
It
Salmon
came
was
down
just dealing.
bottom of the sixth, new ball, and Merockdim has first and third, nobody out. Okay, remember this: first and third, nobody out. Ellie Race pinch running. First and third, nobody out. So Ellie Race is on first. I think Donnie Cohen was on third, if I remember. I'm not exactly sure. They were set up. Okay, they're down 4-2. We said just get one run. No, we actually said if Naftali gets out of it, only giving up one run here, it's a win for him because they're still up 4-3. We thought Merockdim's for sure going to put up at least one. You have the heart of the lineup coming up there. The heart was coming up. And what do we see? Line drive, double play. Next batter gets out. They don't score anything that inning. And for all intents and purposes, that game was over. And it had in a playoff game, in a championship game, when you have your chance and you don't come through, it's very hard to get it again. And they never got another chance again.
You see it all the time when we're playing with Jules against Consumer. We had bases loaded in the game 3 a number of times, and when you can't score, you got to knock a couple in, right? You had your times. You got
We
to get
score
those
2
extra
more runs,
runs.
game's over. We score 2 more runs, they're going home. It's over.
Yeah.
Right?
So
You're down 5.
ultimately, so ultimately, a great game, a great pitching. I mean, this was a game of the ages where Kaufman, when him and Salmon went in for any mano a mano. I mean, you're talking about 2 aces, 2 studs, and they both love the moment. They're not whatever's going on. They love the moment. They want to be in that moment.
Kaufman's as cool as a cucumber, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And he's just, let's keep going. I heard him telling his team, guys, get me one here. I'm going to lock this. I heard him say it after I think the third inning. He goes, I'm telling you right now, I'm feeling it. I'm locking this up. Just get some runs. They will not score another run off me. And they didn't. But Merockdim just couldn't get anything. Couldn't, get anything off Naftali Salmon.
Yeah, they weren't hitting. Wayne House was the only guy who was hitting really that game.
Yeah, Moshe didn't hit in the last game. He had a few.
Sin had a good hitting game.
He had a great game, but ultimately, MJ comes out on top, and the MSL champions. So big congrats to Ushi, to Shami, to Naftali Salmon, to all the players. And playoff MVP, championship MVP went to Naftali Salmon, who was locked down.
Yeah, I think he had a 1 ERA in the championship. Rumor has it that in Rabbi Levitan's shul, in the digital calendar, they have a scroll of all the pictures of the game. I guess somehow someone has connections in that shul. And you walk into the shul, into the lobby, and all you see is Ushi holding trophies, hugging Shami.
And I'm gonna
I just want to know what Tom Slichas is. No, I see trophies.
and ultimately, you gotta say Naftali Salmon won the MVP, but Shami Reichman throughout the playoffs and championships, he was like 24
Yeah,
of 32.
yeah. Oh, great game.
Shami had a
Great
great, so it
games.
was a big shout out to Shami for a great
Yeah.
series.
And
Yitzhak
MJ
Berger
wins
had a
their
big game
second
too.
championship.
Ushi kept his team locked in, even though they lost game one, and it was a sloppy game one. They come back to
Hey, Oshie
win.
kept his team locked in. Even after he was kicked out of the game, he was able to keep his team locked in. Ellie Race is still complaining. I don't know. How did they let him back on the field?
So ultimately,
Yeah.
big time congrats to Merockdim, who had a great season. First place all season. It was a great series,
15-2.
and there's only one winner. So congrats to MJ on
Yeah.
winning the MSL championship.
And that means on to next season. As you teased before, every off season, hot stove is big in our league, and I'm sure it'll be big again. Just teams, don't forget, you have to let the commissioners know what your plans are. Don't just do things. But anyway, we're looking forward to a big hot stove.
Yes, I'm telling you right now, as we're talking during this podcast, I got 3 messages from
Oh my
different
God.
captains about other players. Like, what do you think if I get after this guy? Do you think this guy's worth to go after? I'm
Wow.
looking. So
Wow.
there's going to be chatter over the next few
Yeah,
weeks.
100%.
Obviously, it has to be approved by us. We're not letting just everything just go random. We never do.
Yeah, no
So
anarchy
everything
here.
has to be approved by us. But I think it's going to be an exciting. I heard even some two teams maybe blowing up again. I don't know if it's just talk or chatter. Who knows what's going to be? And I know Mendy Rosen is going hot after some free agents. I know.
VV26, Yitz pitching as he catching.
So I definitely hear a lot of talk. So love to see how it all plays out. And obviously we have some new ideas and fresh ideas for next season. But
We
we
got fall
want
ball,
to,
fall ball going
but
on
now
now.
we're fall ball.
Almost
Fall ball's been
done.
terrific. Always
Yeah.
fun. Football just fun to go to, and
Yeah.
just everybody, whether teams up 10-5, down 10-5, everybody just having a good time with it. It's
And you know what? Until this week, last season there were a lot of 15-4. Until this week, the games were very close. We had a game this week. It was an hour and 5 minutes. It was 3-1 or something like
Wow.
that. 2-1 maybe. The games are going fast. For the most part, it's cleaner than last year. From what I see, yes, there's going to be the errors. Some guys playing with each other for the first time. It makes it harder, but it's been pretty clean. It's obviously less pressure, less stress on players, so they're enjoying it. But once that tournament starts, you're going to feel like a playoff game. I mean, no one's there for
exactly
fun. Yeah.
one game playoffs, and you move to the
One
next
and
round.
done.
Tournament
One and
style.
done. As he one and done, just like every other league in the world.
Yeah.
So
Nobody realizes in our regular season in the MSL, the playoffs, you can play more games in the playoffs than you can play in.
Yeah, 100%.
There's a lot of games going on.
The
So,
MJ and Merockdim played 8 games in the playoffs. That's more than LBA regular season.
it's true.
It's just
More
fact.
than a lot of other leagues. A lot of other
Yeah.
leagues, it's an 8-game season,
Yeah.
and we
Some
play
have 7.
18-game
HSL, some
season
have 7,
plus
yeah.
3-game series. So it's again
Good stuff.
a great season. Great. Thank you to all our sponsors. We
Yeah.
have some great sponsors.
Great
Big part
sponsors.
of what we can do, with the streaming. And me and Gitz have a lot of, new ideas for next season about running, just different stuff that we're going to run by the guys. And we'll start getting into that
Don't
after
forget,
Sukkot and
don't
everything.
forget about the Smash House discount, 15% off for all MSL viewers tomorrow, Sunday. Great deal, great food. I know Sunday night you're going to be watching the Vikings-Falcons game. You all are huge Vikings fans, so you'll all be doing that. So make sure you get the
JT
food.
McCarthy.
Stud, absolutely. Super Bowl. As long as we don't kick field goals, we'll be fine. Big things coming. We know, full balls in midseason. We have our huge adult basketball season coming up. I think on our next podcast, for all those basketball viewers and all the guys in our league, Dov and Nimni, and other guys who play basketball, we're going to have a preseason preview, preseason power rankings, discuss new teams, new players. We have a lot of new players, teams coming from Englewood, teams coming from Teaneck, teams
How many teams do we
regrouping.
have this season? How many teams do we have
So
locked in?
we have at least 10 signed up, and there's 2 others fighting for that last spot. We're going with 11 this year.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That league has grown. It's full of young guys, a lot of
Yeah.
energy. And again, that league, we stream all the games, we announce all the games. So
We're
that's
always
going to be
there.
an exciting stuff. That's
Great.
going to
We
be.
have Ellie Race calling the games. There's no one like Ellie Race calling a basketball game. You know, baseball game, it's great when Big Daddy hit that shot, one of the best calls of all time by Ellie. It really was. It was almost like the Don Mattingly home run in '95. Hold on to the roof. I mean, it was a great call by Ellie. But when Ellie does basketball games, you know, it's every play. He's going back and forth. I don't know how he pulls these things out of his pocket, but he's got everything. He's got nicknames for everybody.
He's a legend
So,
for a reason.
He's our legend. Baruch Hashem, he's our legend.
Yep,
And
100%.
we love Ellie. He is the glue to MSL. He really is. And we're looking forward to it. We're going to have the preseason power rankings. And we're going to have a preview of all the teams. So we're looking forward to that. And we're looking forward to more great MSL things. So until then, guys, we'll see you soon. We'll see you tomorrow night. Full ball again. Every night this week.
That's it. So once again, congrats to MJ
MJ
with the
Dragons.
championship, and let's keep this going. And if again, it's always open to ideas. If anybody has any stuff that we can improve, that we can keep our MSL league the best out there, just run it by us. And we love you guys.
Yes, we know Go Pros on every single batter and every single fielder is a great idea. Yes, we know. We got it.
All right.
See you
Yes.
soon, guys. Take care. 1 o'clock slichas.
I'm ready.
I'll see you there.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.